Good morning. Look, I got stuff on my face. I got this light right in my eyeballs. Welcome. Hello, hello. This is the episode 13 of the Claims Recruiter Office Hours live stream. If you're joining, thanks so much for tuning in. Happy Tuesday. Still got some lasers on my face. Hope you're having an awesome week so far. Feel free to drop in the comments here. Say hello if you're joining us. We got an action-packed Tuesday here. So drink some coffee, have some kombucha. Whatever morning, afternoon drink you are drinking. I'm drinking coffee. It's morning here, Portland, Oregon. Beautiful day. It's a little rainy today. We've had some good sunny days, so I can't complain. Thanks so much for joining. If you're tuning in, I got an awesome show today planned. I'm gonna jump right into it. This is the Claims Recruiter Office Hours live stream. We go live every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Talk about all things careers in claims. So what I do, I'm a recruiter. I help companies find people. I play mostly in the claims space. That's really all I do. I don't really do anything else, because what I know, it's what I like doing. And so yeah, if there's anything I can help you with, this is my office. Doors open. I'd imagine there's some other really awesome people in the comments too that have a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience in this industry as well, and so love hearing from other people, hearing other opinions as well. So this week I had someone make a comment on one of my posts, and so I want to spend a lot of time kind of walking through their specific scenario, going through kind of ideas on how they can proceed, how to get their first job in insurance. So let's go right to it. Again, if you're joining in, thanks so much for stopping by. Feel free to say hello in the comments. It'll pop up on screen if you have a question or don't want your boss to see or whatever that might be. You can also scan this QR code right here. That will bring you to my website, crewtalentgroup.com/office hours, where you can go totally anonymously submit questions too. So you want to submit your resume, I'll go over your resume live here, take your name off, of course, whatever. You want to talk about jobs, opportunities, anything you want to talk about. My office is open here for the next hour. Let's hang out. Okay, let's rock right into it. So, had an awesome comment this week on one of my posts on LinkedIn, and so I really wanted to break down this situation and talk about it. So basically, and I get this question a lot, right, from people all the time, like, and if you go to the Facebook forums, you go to Reddit, you go to these adjuster groups, you see this a lot, right? How do you break into claims adjusting without any experience? And so wanted to break down this person's particular scenario. So looking for jobs in claims, background in education, which I've talked about on this live stream before, is like an awesome segue into claims. I've seen a lot of people, when I was working for Everals, especially like the TPA side, desk adjusting, catastrophe adjusting, teachers make fantastic adjusters. They learn really quick. They understand communication really well. They're really professional, very organized. And so it's a really, really awesome transition into claims. There's other really great transitions into claims: law enforcement, military, any type of like firefighters, criminal justice type majors, things like that. So teachers is an awesome segue into claims. Lives in the Chicago area and is starting to work on their license. So just started licensing process, think going through Adjuster Pro online class, probably Texas DHS license if I were to guess. If you're not familiar with that process, it's about a 40-hour class, and then you take a test, get fingerprints, pay $170, and boom, you got your Texas designated home state license. So let's get into it. So yeah, what would I recommend for someone just starting out into claims, looking to find their first job, having a tough time breaking into the industry? Let's get into it. If you're out there tuning in, I'd love to hear your opinion too. Any advice that you would have for this person? Not sure if this person's tuning in. Shout yourself out. I didn't want to out you on here, but you can shout yourself out if you'd like, and then tell people where to find you. If any hiring managers on here looking for people, they can find you too. But let's get into it. Coffee. Got my hurricane mug. You've seen this mug before. 2020 hurricane. See, 6 years ago already. Wow. So many hurricanes that year. Not huge ones, but so many hurricanes that year. Anyways, let's get into it. So, first thing that I would say is getting your license is an awesome first step, and you definitely if you're breaking into the industry and like trying to come into you want a career in claims, you're looking to do it. Highly recommend getting licensed. It's a very easy thing to do. It's not hard. It's a 40-hour class. You can do it online. I would recommend doing it in person. Personally, it's really boring, and so having a fun instructor makes the experience better, in my humble opinion. However, you can do it however you want, right? You can do it totally virtually, all online. If you're a self-starter, go to the Adjuster Pro class. Getting your insurance adjusting license is like getting a driver's license. Having a driver's license does not mean you are a good driver. It means you're allowed to be on the road. And so, important thing to kind of note, yes, it's really important first step. It's smart to do. Hats off to you for starting that process. Your license itself is probably not going to open up a whole lot of doors for you. Having a driver's license does not make you a good driver. Same with an adjusting license. Having an adjusting license does not make you a good adjuster. So, good start. It's kind of a necessary thing. We're going to go through some job descriptions here in a bit, and you'll see a consistent theme in these job descriptions, having a license. So, that's kind of my first little plug. The second thing, I think it's really important when you're starting off brand new, is to understand and be aware of the compensation that's out there, and to make sure that you're okay with kind of what's in line there. So, really what I'm getting at here is you're probably not going to work remote right away, right? Like, we can talk money, and we will talk money here in a minute for this particular situation, but I really want people to understand that if you're trying to break into this industry and you're trying to get your first job and you're trying to get an entry-level position in claims, it is a very, very difficult to do so remote right now. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm saying that it's going to be very difficult, and your opportunities are going to be extremely limited. You may be better off, frankly, going into like a customer service type role at a claims company. You may have a better chance of doing that. It's going to be even less pay. It's going to be even more kind of entry level, but I'm seeing more like first notice of loss call center type gigs that are remote than I am adjuster trainee entry level adjusting roles. So the goal here breaking into claims is if that's like you really want to be remote, you got to look at it like it's a couple year play, right? Once you get some experience, once you gain some knowledge and know what you're doing, there's going to be remote opportunities out there for you. Before you understand how to do this job, it's going to be very difficult to have someone teach you remote. And it stinks, honestly. Like, I can't imagine learning this industry brand new, not really knowing a thing, and breaking into it without being able to pop your head over your neighbor's cubicle, to not be able to listen to the next person's phone call, to not have a group of people around you that are all kind of in the same situation where you can learn. That's going to be the best learning environment for you. That's why those positions are in office. But I just want to be super upfront about that. You have to really understand like what compensation's out there for these types of roles, and then secondly, understand it's probably going to be in an office or hybrid at first. Long-term play, maybe be remote, but right away it's going to be an office. The lights are just annoying the crap out of me. I got to do a different color. There we go. The green was not doing it. Okay. Yeah, I did St. Patty's Day theme for last week, and so I couldn't remember what my preset was. I don't think this is it either, but it's better than it was. I didn't like that orange. Okay. Continuing on. So, we've been over kind of licensing, we've been over compensation expectations. The next thing, so breaking into claims again with no experience, you should really think about and really consider is like, what are your long-term goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you want to be? What types of positions interest you? Have you researched different types of claim handling positions? There's a ton of different claims handling positions out there, tons of them. And so understanding like where you want to be, what types of claims you want to work. Maybe you have a background in property restoration and that's where you want to be, right? You really enjoy putting houses back together. You have a background in roofing. You understand that. Maybe you want to go into property with the goal eventually going into commercial property, but mainly doing property damage claims. Maybe your background is in nursing. Maybe you have a medical history, medical background, and so you know some of those things. So maybe workers' comp might make more sense for you. Maybe auto bodily injury might make more sense for you. So that's what I would recommend there in terms of like, before you understand or before you decide where you want to go or what you want to do next, you really got to look at the big picture, where you want to be and what you're interested in, and also where your skills lie. So something to be cognizant of. Good morning, James. Our CrossFit champion James is in the house. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Got the sun shining. Hopefully the sun is shining there in Madison, Wisconsin. Just joining, we're talking about how to break into claims with no experience. In a particular situation that someone that came into my DMs or on my LinkedIn comments on one of my posts, looking to get their first job and experience. We're going through that. Tips on how to get your first job in insurance. So again, talking about long-term positioning, where do you see yourself? If you don't know, if this is all new to you and some of these terms are totally new to you, I highly recommend first off researching it. But what I would say is if you're kind of wondering where to go, where to position yourself, right now in the claims industry, the biggest opportunity for claims adjusters is in more specialized, like niche type roles. And a lot of these roles that we're seeing are general liability, professional services, like the finance type stuff, cyber policies, E&O, med-mal, like those types of specialized roles. And then general liability, we're talking slip and falls, we're talking premise liability, we're talking someone gets injured at a store or at a sporting event or those types of things. So that specialized kind of medical, bodily injury, general liability is a huge opportunity right now. There are more job openings and there are qualified people for these roles. A lot of these roles require significant experience, especially handling like bodily injury claims. So if I were starting out today and I had no experience, it didn't matter to me where to go, that's where I would position myself. I would try and learn. And I think auto liability, auto bodily injury is a really good entry point for people to kind of learn some of those concepts, and then they can go in the future into more commercial policies. Now, we talk about personal lines, we talk about commercial, just to kind of give you a breakdown of what that means really quick. So personal lines is your very standard insurance. I have a car, I have a policy on my car. It's pretty self-explanatory. I own a home, I have a policy on my home. It's pretty self-explanatory. Hail hits my house, I file a claim, insurance company writes me a check, I fix my roof, right? That's personal lines, homeowners. Commercial insurance is more complex. There's more parties involved. It's a lot of what is actually covered, what isn't covered. And so those types of policies, those types of claims require a different skill set and a little bit more advanced skill set to really understand the policy, to understand what that contract is laid out, who's at fault, who has to pay, all those things. There's so many more parties involved, subrogation opportunities, things like that. And so it's more specialized. it's harder to find people that are experienced in it, and thus the pay is higher. And so, again, if I was positioning myself right now, brand new into the industry, I also would understand that my first job ever in claims does not mean I'm going to be stuck in that lane forever. It's really easy to switch lines once you're in, but there's certain jobs that you can certainly position yourself better for, like a future in general liability, for instance, right? A property adjuster right now, or an auto liability adjuster. The auto liability adjuster is going to have a better shot at kind of moving into a general liability role in the future. So some things to kind of consider. Again, it depends on your skill set. It depends on your motivations. It depends on what you want. But all things that you really should consider when breaking into your role, like your first role in claims. Okay, moving on. When you're applying for roles, when you're talking to recruiters, when you're talking to hiring managers, if you're brand new, they're not going to expect that you have experience into claims. They're not going to expect that you have a tenured history and know how to work your way around a policy. So what are they looking for? We're going to look at job descriptions here in a minute, some real life actual job descriptions that are out there. And so we'll go through some of these things. But I'm here to tell you, like, the big things that companies are looking for. And if you've got opinions on this too, drop them in the chat. I'd love to hear from some other people, some other claims pros, like what you would look for if you were hiring a brand new adjuster in the field on their first claims job. What are you looking for? I'd love to hear from you. But what I would say is, you need to be an expert level communicator. You need to be extremely good at communicating with people. Claims is a lot of times dealing with people that have experienced loss. And so what that looks like to different people, it's all over the place. But, you know, a lot of times you're working with people that just lost something. It could be their house. It could be, you know, it could be small. It could be a roof claim, you know, and so it's not as heavy, but it could be a total loss fire claim. It could be someone that was injured in an accident. It could be someone that was hit by a car and injured, things like that. So you have to have empathy. You have to have good communication skills. You have to have good follow-up. You must be professional, and that's a really, really important. And it seems so self-explanatory, but it's not. Secondly, you have to have really good organization skills. And again, coming from a teaching background, like, these are kind of themes, right? If you're a teacher, you obviously have to be organized. You're responsible for children, which is terrifying to me, but God bless our teachers. But yeah, you have to be organized, and at the end of the day, you're gonna have to manage a queue of claims. You're gonna have a pending count of claims, whatever it might be, 40 to 140 to 240. I don't know. It depends on the type of business, depends on the company, depends on the type of claim severity, all that stuff. But you're going to have a pending count of claims, and likely it's going to be a lot. It's going to be difficult to manage. It's not easy, and so you need to be on top of that. You need to understand how a diary works. You need to understand how to set yourself task reminders. You need to understand to follow up. But basically, an insurance company is regulated by law to do certain things on a certain timeline. You have to once you receive a claim, you have to contact that person before 24 hours. So, you know, if you're inspecting a claim, if you're a property field adjuster, a lot of times they're going to want you to inspect that claim within 5 to 7 days. They're going to want a return first report in 10 to 14 days. So that's kind of what that looks like, but there's laws on that. And one of the big things you see in the forums and groups, all this stuff in insurance, is this is so draining. My boss is micromanaging me. And that's a complaint that you get over and over. And sometimes it's warranted, but sometimes it's like, hey, this is a really regulated industry that has very strict timelines. And so absolutely, they're going to manage those timelines. And for the most part, if you're within those timelines, your boss is not going to be on your butt. But if you're not, they're going to be on your butt, and you might call that micromanagement, and they might call that compliance. So they're absolutely going to be looking for organization skills. So we got communication, organization, problem solving, and this is a big one right now, is can you go out and find the answer to a question that you have? If you have a problem, if you have an issue, if you don't know what to do, before you call your boss for the 15th time on Tuesday, can you go and try and find the answer yourself? And so every claims department on the planet right now is busy, right? Everybody is working hard, and most companies don't have huge, robust training departments. Some ones do, and you're going to have access to trainers and people to help. But even then, those trainers are going to have a lot of people assigned to them. Can you be the person on your team that goes and finds the answer before going? And maybe you're not confident in that answer, and you can just call them up instead of saying, "What do I do?" You can say, "I went out and this is what I think I should do. I just want to make sure." So being able to go out and solve problems on your own is a huge skill and something that people are absolutely looking for. And the last one is just professionalism. Are you a professional? Do you have basic professional literacy? Can you type out professional emails? Can you work with contractors? Can you work with attorneys? Can you work with internal claims teams? Can you work with policyholders? You're working with all these different people along the claim cycle. You need to be professional in your communication. You need to be professional in how you hold yourself like to that standard. If you're going out and inspecting a property, you need to look professional. You need to act professional. It's Claims 101, but it's something that you'd be shocked. I mean, like, when I was working for Eberl, it was so hard to get people who even just to show up on site with the proper equipment and the proper dress code, and it got to a point where that's what we were looking for. We were screening that so hard of just, do you have a ladder? Do you know what you're in for here? Do you understand like what the job responsibility actually might do? So having high level professionalism, being able to interview well is gonna put you, gonna make you stand out in a sea of 1,000 resumes, right? So again, we've kind of gone over a couple things here. So we talked about licensing, we talked about compensation, we talked about long-term positioning, where you want to be, how to position yourself, talked about what employers are looking for. So how do you get that actual job? How do you position yourself? How do you get interviews? How do you get second interviews? How do you get the offer? So right now on in the job searching world, job boards are dead. If you follow my page, talk about this all the time. Indeed is dead. LinkedIn job boards are basically worthless in my opinion. It is so difficult. The reason why these sites and these job boards are garbage right now is because it's become too easy. The barrier to entry to apply is just, it's easy apply, right? And I understand why you want that easy apply, but what happens is you get people that just filter it by money. They go in, they take the job description, they plug it into ChatGPT, they generate a resume based on ChatGPT. It's all fake, it's all lies, and you get 1,000 applications. They all have the same resume, they all answer the questions the same way, and recruiters are sitting there, hiring managers are sitting there for hours and hours and hours sorting through thousands of resumes that all look the same. So it's like this pool of garbage. It's time suck for recruiters to go over and over these resumes. Want to connect with real people. People want to hire real people. People want to connect on that like human level. And so I'm not saying don't apply via LinkedIn. I'm not saying don't go to a company website and apply. What I'm saying is you want to connect with the actual hiring managers. Even just say hello. So yeah, you find a job on Indeed, it looks amazing, apply for it, go on LinkedIn, try and find 4 managers of that company, connect with them on LinkedIn, send them a quick message saying, hey, look, I'm really interested in joining, breaking into this industry. I applied for this job. I'd love to hear from you if you'd be interested in talking to me about the position. But if not, I'd love for you to just give me a couple tips of advice to someone breaking into the industry. And people will talk to you. I really do think a lot of people in the industry want to share it with other people, especially people who look like they want to be in the industry. And so then the second part of that is position your LinkedIn profile, position your social media profile, especially LinkedIn is just such an easy professional profile that you can create. But position yourself so that when someone goes to your LinkedIn, they understand that you are a claims professional looking for your first job. And the person that made this comment actually did an excellent job of doing that, and I've seen them commenting on posts, I see them discussing with people joining claims. So kudos to you for starting that, doing that, it's gonna work out. It's gonna work for you. But what you're doing is working, and other people highly recommend doing this. Connect with recruiters. Try and get in conversations. It's not always needs to be about like this particular job, but more of just like, hey, I would love to have a conversation with you and learn about what you're looking for in new adjusters. What tips would you give for someone in my position? Questions like that are really going to go a long way for you. So another thing is you can just learn basic claim language. Listen to podcasts. Listen to go on LinkedIn, engage with people that are talking about this. Try and connect or follow people that are big in the industry. Follow Stephen Badger. Shout out Stephen Badger, one of the greatest claim follows on LinkedIn. But start reading some of this type of thing. Start reading some of these journals. Start listening to these podcasts, so you start hearing the language. So when you do get into an interview, you can talk about some of these basic terms in insurance. You kind of understand what people are talking about, the different lines of insurance. You know what GL is, you know what auto liability is, you know what physical damage is, you know what a deductible is, you know what a claimant is. All these basic terms are really going to help you. Another thing, networking with people locally is going to help as well. So we talked about networking on LinkedIn, connecting with people on LinkedIn. Another way you can do this is connect locally. Hey, come here, buddy. Hey, we got a special guest. Hey, come here. See if you can see him. Special guest here on the podcast, on the live stream. There's his nose. You can't see him. Corey wants to say hello. But yeah, connect with people locally in your area. And one way you can do that is look at your local claim organizations. So, Chicago specifically, this person's in Chicago. Chicago Claims Association does monthly events. They just had one like a couple weeks ago. I was able to go on their LinkedIn, see they have free events for adjusters. It costs you nothing to attend, and there will be claims people there. There will be hiring managers there. There will also be vendors there. And one of the things I can say from a networking perspective is, even if someone doesn't have the job title of maybe a hiring manager, a person that you're looking for, connect with those people. The vendors always know the information. They are at all these events. They talk to these people every day. They know who's hiring. They know what companies are good to work at. They know which companies aren't good to work at. So talk to those people too. Even if it's like a construction business development, it's a restoration company BD rep. Talk to them. You might make a friend. They might be cool, but they might have some really awesome information for you. And so connect with everybody that you can. Chicago has Chicago Claims Association. Basically, every large city in the country has some sort of claims association. Orlando Claims Association, Tampa Bay Claims Association, Dallas, Austin, Houston. All these large cities have a claims association. If you don't live in a large city, you might have to drive a little bit. Go to these events. They're a lot of times very low cost for adjusters. Chicago's free. Checked it out. They've got a event, I think, in a couple weeks at a pizza place. It's like a CE event and then a social hour afterwards. So super easy, super fun. You meet cool people. You might find your next job there, but you get information, and that's what's key. And then the last piece I have here is you need to be flexible in terms of like what you're willing to take in terms of a job. You have to be flexible. I'm talking about pay. I'm talking about location. I'm talking about hybrid, remote. You're probably gonna have to go in the office. Kind of beat that horse to death already, but those are some things that you're gonna have to be flexible about. Again, it's a long-term play. Can you make six figures? Can you make great money? Can you do really well in this industry? Absolutely. When you get your first job, it's not gonna be six figures. It's not gonna be remote. It's not gonna be like all that stuff, but you got to work your way up to it, and it's there. It's seriously, it is such a great career. There's so much movement. There's so many possibilities. Insurance is recession proof. I know we love that, but like it's a really, really awesome opportunity. It's changed my life, changed a lot of lives people I know, and so it's going to be awesome. So let's look at some jobs. Into the fun part. Let's look at a couple jobs. So I pulled 3 jobs that I think that if you were in this situation, specifically in Chicago, looking for a job, that you should definitely be applying for. And so we can go over these. Let's see if I can find my mouse here. I got too many screens. Okay, let's pop over here. Okay, let's start here. Let's start with this Allstate one. Okay, so we got Allstate property adjuster inside Chicago, Illinois. This doesn't necessarily specifically say trainee on it, but look at this job description. It's been posted for like a month. Work a weekly schedule with some in-office days, some days remote. Hybrid, look at that. Where is it? I don't really know where their office is, but it's in Illinois. Illinois. Very nice. Okay. Role overview. This is a inside property adjuster, so it's a desk property claims handler. That means is you'll have an inventory of property claims. You won't actually be doing the physical inspections. You'll likely have someone else from the Allstate team or an independent adjuster handling those inspections to you. They'll send you a report. Your job is to kind of quarterback the situation. You're making sure the adjuster's going out. If there's a contractor that needs to send you a quote or a scope, you're taking that in. You may be having discussions with the field adjuster. You may be having discussions with the repair, who's ever doing the work. You may be talking to the policyholder directly. Your goal is to settle those claims. So, yeah, virtually inspecting. Ooh, virtually inspecting. So what does that mean? That's kind of a new thing here we've seen in the last 5-6 years. So sometimes on like lower severity claims, they might not send someone out. They may have you do an inspection via like a video call where the policyholder's walking around showing you damages on their phone, whatever that might be. They may still send someone out, investigating coverage, preparing estimates, settling claims promptly and accurately. You'll be interacting with customers, contractors, and vendors through software platforms. You'll be using Xactimate, something you'll have to get familiar with if you're not. ClaimsX video collaboration, that's what we were just talking about. Doing that virtual video with a policyholder, them showing you the damage. And then voice calls, text messages, particular focus. So this is going to be mainly interior water losses. So again, that makes a lot more sense. A policyholder is not going to get up on their roof to show you hail damage, but they might, show you a video, and that's how you document water loss. You're probably relying quite a bit on the restoration contractor as well, and they're going to send you images. They're going to send you documentation of what they think is wrong, and mitigation is water mitigation is a big focus for carriers because restoration companies get in there, and I'm not going to say every restoration company is like this, but there's companies that go out and do maybe a little bit more than necessary for billing purposes. So making sure that you're drying that room to a standard that's acceptable, that's needed, but you don't need 25 fans in a bathroom type thing. So that's some of the things you might be dealing with going back and forth. Is this really necessary? Do we need this many fans? Do we need this level of mitigation for this? And so those are some things that you might be doing. Customer service. Again, we talked about this a minute ago. Skills you need to have. Customer service expert, communication skills, customer service, so big. Investigator, you need investigative skills. Like you're independently, you're gonna have a contractor, you're having mitigation say this is what you need. You need to then use your own judgment and confirm, do we actually need all this? Negotiator, you're gonna negotiate with those contractors because the answer is probably no, you don't need all of that. You probably need some of that, maybe most of it, who knows? But maybe you don't need all those fans. Problem solver. You need to go out and figure it out, right? You're going to have all these tools. You're going to have these job aids. You're going to have these platforms. Use your critical thinking skills. Try and figure things out on your own. And then recorder. This is so important in claims. Is you need to be very organized, and you need to be able to document accurately what's happening, what's going on every step of the way. Schedule Monday through Friday, rotational Saturday, in office Monday, Wednesday, Friday, remote Tuesday, Thursday. There's the office address, Northbrook. I don't know where Northbrook is. Qualifications: 1 year of customer service experience. Previous industry experience is desired, not required. Xactimate and other relevant software is preferred. Again, not required. Ability to assess property damage. Excellent negotiation and communication skills. So this is all the stuff. This here is really what you want to. If you don't have claims experience, this is what you're putting your resume to look. Hey, this is the type of experience that I have. Maybe it's a similar role, but think about all your jobs you've ever had. If you worked at Walmart in high school, do you have good customer experience? I mean, here another example is Chick-fil-A employees. As a recruiter, love seeing Chick-fil-A on our resume. I know that someone that worked at Chick-fil-A for 3 years is going to have pretty good customer service skills, and you can talk about that in your interviews. And it may not seem relevant, but it is. And so, again, something to think about. This is how you want to position your resume. Is like, I have these skills. Sure, have I done claims before? Not necessarily, but do you have investigator skills? Where have you been? Where have you had to do some investigation? You know, if you're a teacher, I'm trying to think of where, but working with kids, learning about their issues, trying to think. They don't always tell you everything or what you need to know. Being effective communicator, talking to the parents, being able to effectively communicate to your classroom. You probably don't negotiate a ton as a teacher, but think about where you've developed some of these skills. Problem solving, tons of problem solving skills. Same with recording. Like, you have to be organized, you have to be accurate, you have to understand what's going on. So again, that's what you want to position your resume. Now let's get to the fun stuff. Comp. Yeah, more skills. Again, this is what we've been talking about over and over, how you want to position yourself. Compensation stuff, pretty standard here. You're going to have pretty good benefits working for a large carrier. Comp is going to be 20 to 32 an hour. So that's kind of what you should expect as a brand new adjuster coming into it. Is that your long-term play? No, but that's about where you're going to see compensation, especially for some of these like trainee type roles. So awesome opportunity. Let's do two more. Okay, second one found again right in Chicago. Was able to search these pretty quick. Didn't take me a whole lot of time to do this. I'm sure there's tons more too. But what I'm trying to get at is there are jobs out there. If you're brand new to insurance, looking for your first job, there are jobs out there. This company would hire you probably, but at least interview. First Chicago Insurance Company. So what is this job? It's a little bit different than the first one. Full-time auto claims trainee, dynamic world of insurance. It says college grad. Looking at their website, look at all these jobs. Auto claims, auto casualty claims specialist, 2 offices. Okay, got one in Oak Brook, one in Bedford. Auto claims supervisor, trainee, auto claims leadership, damage. So they need people. This company needs help. And granted, some of these are like kind of old. A lot of these aren't. March 17th. That's like last week. That's a week ago. This company needs people, right? So what is this company? Let's go back to this job description. First Chicago Insurance Company is a non-standard auto carrier. So what does that mean? If you're brand new, don't know some of the terminology, here's where we can learn some of this terminology. Auto claims, first party auto claims. It's going to be personal lines, right? So I own a car, I purchase an auto policy for my car. That's a standard policy. Allstate, State Farm, all those. Non-standard, which is what this is, a little bit different. It's a very specific type of policy. Non-standard means is basically I have trouble getting a standard policy. I can't go to State Farm and get an auto policy. Why? Maybe I've got a DUI or 2 and they don't want to insure me. I'm a high risk driver. I've gotten in a lot of accidents. The other carriers, for whatever reason that might be, don't want to insure you. You have to go to kind of the secondary market, which is called non-standard. So it's kind of like the last companies that will insure you. So what does that mean for you as a claims adjuster? it means, frankly, it's going to be a tough environment, which is partly why they're hiring so many people. They need help. It's not, frankly, the most attractive job on the planet. It's going to be probably high volume. It's going to be some tough conversations, a lot of conflict resolution, a lot of potentially unhappy, upset customers. You know, you're looking for things like, did they pay their premium? Is their policy actually in force? You're going to have some of those types of coverage issues, and so it's a tougher environment. What I will say is this is a fantastic resume builder. If you can go to this type of job, if you can work at a company like this for a few years, really get your feet wet doing different types of claims, learning some bodily injury, doing some casualty, doing some physical damage, whatever that might be, you're gonna understand looking at a policy, doing investigative work, conflict resolution. It's going to be huge. You're probably going to have a high volume of claims, and so if you can go and churn this out for a few years and learn, this is going to be a really good opportunity. Is this job for everybody? Absolutely not. It's frankly going to be a tough job, but it is going to be an excellent opportunity and something that you should take a look at. Again, it's not going to be for everyone, and you got to kind of understand that and do your due diligence. Is that really something I want to do? And maybe do some research into non-standard carriers, or look at other people that have worked and talk to people that have worked in a non-standard carrier, ask them what it's like. It's going to be less of a focus probably on customer service. It's going to be more higher volume. It's going to be a little bit more conflict resolution. But again, all those things are things that you're going to want on your resume long term. And so for the right person, this is an excellent opportunity. And they have a lot of opportunities. Let's look at this a little bit more. I think this is fully in office. Again, analytical, organizational, interpersonal communication skills, previous customer service. What do you think? 20 to 30 an hour. That's what we've been talking about, right? You're gonna have to probably get a license. Say you need one. We offer you the training to support to start your career. Again, this is a great opportunity for the right person. Is it for everybody? Probably not. But it's a really great way to develop your skills. And I would really take a hard look at this. I think it would be a really good way to position yourself long term for commercial auto, for general liability, things like that. And so incredible career builder right here. Look at one more and we'll go on to some other fun stuff here. Again, all claims trainee positions, all in the Chicago area. This took me about 15 minutes to find these 3 roles, so there's certainly more out there. This is a super interesting job post. Of the 3, I was personally looking at it, and I didn't have I wasn't sold. Like I didn't know if, hey, should I go to auto, should I go into property, what should I do next? In terms of long-term positioning and where you want to be, job market, this is an awesome opportunity. So this is a company called Intact Specialty Solutions. So specialty insurance. This is not homeowners, or this is not like personal lines. This is commercial lines. Again, what I've been talking about on this show over and over is specialized niche commercial lines is where you want to position yourself in the long-term future. That's where the opportunities are at. This does a way better job than the first 2. Not saying those are bad. Those are great opportunities too. But this is, to me, really awesome opportunity. So it's in Barrington, Illinois. Where the heck is Barrington? Oh, that's part of the issue. It's a little way out there. Well, it's not too far. It's near like, but it's a little bit of a hike. Ooh. I live in West Town. Yeah, so if you live kind of in downtown, it's a little bit of a hike. Again, you got to be flexible with some of these things. But okay, let's look at this again. So, This opportunity, we have an opportunity for a claims rep trainee to join our finance claims team based in our Barrington, Illinois office. Hybrid schedule, so only a few days a week. Accelerated program is able a broad overview of specialty finance team. Last 12 months with an opportunity of promotion on completion. Starts on June 1st. So they're kind of bringing in a few people to join this. Have like a very robust training program. Awesome opportunity. Let's see. Timely and appropriate contacts, determines exposure, establishes reserves, makes timely adjustments, authority level within required, authority level, directs activities of internal, external resources, including independent adjusters, appraisals, questionable claims, SIU, a special investigative unit. There's the people that they look for the F word. You know what the F word is? Pop it in the chat. Your close supervision, maybe term settlement value. Yeah, you're gonna have supervision for sure, but that's great. And these are gonna be different types of claims. These are gonna be like, cyber claims, business type liability. It could be errors and omissions. It could be like med mal. It could be some of these kind of exciting different types of claims. It's not general liability, ouch, I got hurt, I need to go to the hospital. The damages are more like, hey, this person hacked our company and sent an invoice to our client, and our client paid 15 grand to this, hacker in a different country type claims. So interesting stuff. Maybe some product liability, probably not product liability, but E&O, errors and omissions would be another one. Company gets sued because they did something. Who knows what that could be? Yeah. Okay. So let's see what else. Documents clearly. Let's see. So experience, bachelor's degree preferred, some business or insurance background. Again, that's super open-ended. 0 to 1 year claims experience. Must be able to obtain a license. Starting base salary is $61,000. Again, that's probably a little bit higher than these other two. It's kind of on the 30 more courts, 30 an hour. Really good pay for a trainee position. They're paying to train you for the next 12 months. You're not going to be a full adjuster probably for 12 months, so they're paying to train you. $61,000. You're getting paid $61,000 to learn how to be an adjuster for a year. Incredible opportunity. Should apply this yesterday. This is such a cool opportunity. I know I'm just like glazing this company right now, but I think this would be a really, really awesome opportunity. But this is the types of opportunities you can look at. These were all direct with carriers. Another option is TPAs, third-party administrators, companies that handle claims on behalf of carriers, self-insured, risk pools, etc. A lot of times we'll have training programs like companies like Sedgwick, Gallagher, Bassett. But again, there's 3 companies, 3 legitimate job postings that are open right now that you can be applying to. So I went 52 minutes on that one question alone. I was only gonna go 20, and I just got wrapped up in it. I'm excited. It gets me fired up. I didn't mean to go 52 minutes on that one question, but here we are. Here we are. But if you got more questions, I got some more time here. I'm hanging out. It's been quiet in the chat today. It's Chill Tuesday. It is spring break week here in Portland. All the schools here are out. All the parents are trying to figure out what the heck to do with their children this week. I don't have kids, so it doesn't affect me at all. But seen a lot of kids running around town. It's fun to see. Yeah, this is Claims Recruiter office hours. We hang out every Tuesday for an hour. Open up my office. If you've got a question, chances are someone else out there on planet Earth has the same question about working in insurance, claims, resume tips, interview guide, whatever it might be. And so that's what we're here for, answering questions, helping people out. It's our goal to help 100 people find their first job in insurance in the year 2026. And so that's the point of the show. So feel free to say hello, comment in the chat, send questions up here. CrewTalentGroup.com/office hours, totally anonymously. Got some other questions that I saw throughout the week, came in through LinkedIn. A couple of these came from Reddit. So let's just rock through a few more of these. Again, pop in the chat, say hello if you're out there. Other shout out, a couple jobs I'm working on right now. If you are a GL adjuster in the state of California, specifically kind of in the Los Angeles area, got a pretty cool opportunity in Irvine. Really cool opportunity, actually. Yeah, can't say a ton about it, but it's a really cool opportunity for someone that would want to work in risk management long term, work directly for a company handling claims in-house. Hit me up. Really cool opportunity. It's hybrid. If you got GL experience, any liability, premise liability, slip and fall type stuff, hit me up. Really cool opportunity to work with a company that has some really cool long-term opportunities. So if you're in the Los Angeles area, specifically Irvine, California, office is kind of near the airport, hit me up. Love to talk to you. Love to tell you more about it. Second opportunity, you're a workers' comp adjuster or want to be a workers' comp adjuster. Live in the state of Montana. Montana worker comp laws are a little bit weird. You have to actually be sitting in the state in order to handle the claims, and so we need someone in Montana. It could be hybrid for the right person. Otherwise, office in Missoula. Hit me up. Love to talk to you about it. Love to hear from you. A couple cool opportunities that I'm working on right now. Or if you're just like a GL adjuster, a claims adjuster, property, whatever type of property, like if you're an adjuster out there who wants to advance your career, I want to hear from you. I'd love to chat. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Hit me up my email, josh@crewtalentgroup.com. Go to my website, send me a message there. You can apply to join the Crew Talent Network, crewtalentgroup.com. You'll see it. Send me your resume. I'd love to hear from you. Let's keep rocking. We got some time left here. Here we go. This is one I saw actually on Reddit. Someone posted this on Reddit in one of the adjuster threads, and I wanted to talk about it, and I thought it was a really interesting post. Basically, it was anonymous, but it was like, I'm an adjuster working for a large known carrier. I got an opportunity, or I'm working in homeowners property claims in the field, and I got an opportunity to work for a large TPA. Initials are GB. $10,000 raise, and this would be doing a little bit more commercial work. Should I take it, basically? So yeah, current field property adjuster, 10K increase, would be into commercial property. Like anything in life, I think it depends on your goals. It depends on where you want to be. It seems like this person is pretty happy where they currently are, and so worried about kind of risking that. Do I leave this job? Let's just take the money out of it totally. 10K raise aside, where do you want to be in 5 years? What's your long-term goals? Where do you want to position yourself? Do you like doing homeowners property? Maybe you're content with that. Or do you want to position yourself in commercial? How do you feel about learning something new? Because this would be a learning curve. You're going to spend the next 6 months to 2 years like really diving in, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult probably. If you're comfortable in your job, kind of doing your 9 to 5, are you willing to kind of leave that? Sure, this might be a 9 to 5, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's probably going to take up more of your time, more of your brain's power. But the flip side is you're going to learn some new skills. You're going to make yourself more marketable for the future. You're going to learn some new lines of business that are kind of emerging and really exciting right now. Downfalls of working at a TPA is sometimes the technology is not quite as great as it might be at a carrier, right? If you're working for State Farm doing property claims, they've got their property claims nailed down to a T. They've got every step of the way what you should do. They've got software that supports that. They've got technology that supports that. You go to a TPA, they got 100 different clients. That software, that claims process isn't going to probably be as nailed down specifically for your account, your client. And so it's going to require more manual power. It's going to require probably some more like finessing. Do they have cool technology? Sure. I'm sure GB has like sick technology. I no doubt in my mind they've got awesome tech. But again, they've got hundreds, thousands of clients, and so it's not always a one-size-fits-all. And so you may be just kind of like finessing some things, figuring some things out. So yeah, like in terms of software and sort of claims process, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult, which is again why they're paying you more money to do it, and why they need people with more experience to do it. Decisions you're going to be making on a commercial policy or are going to be a little bit larger decisions, right? One mistake can cost a lot of money, and so that stress can kind of come along with it. Again, I see that as opportunity, but it, you know, if you have anxiety about those types of things, then maybe that's not for you. And so again, I think this would be an awesome opportunity for someone. Should you take it? I think I lean towards yes, but it depends on what your goals are, where you want to be, where your skills are at, and kind of where you're at in life. So it's important to kind of see both sides, see every angle of it. Money aside, money's great, right? 10 grand, that's like what, $800 a month? It's not like crazy amounts of money, but it's $10,000 a year, you know, so after taxes, $8,000 a year more. It's pretty cool. But don't think all about the money. Think about everything else, and then money is really the last thing on my mind looking at a question like this. Like, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? How do you want to position yourself? What are your long-term goals? Why am I not getting interviews? I've been getting this question quite a bit. Again, it's hard to determine without kind of assessing an individual situation. I would say spraying and praying your resume on Indeed is not super great right now. I would be trying to apply directly on company websites. I'd be trying to connect with hiring managers directly. I'd want to connect with recruiters directly on LinkedIn. Try and get in conversations with these people and gain some information as to why. Maybe the skills that you have and the jobs that you're applying for don't line up. Maybe the compensation that you're looking for and the skills that you have don't line up exactly. Maybe you're not positioning your resume in a way that makes you attractive to these employers. So all of those could be reasons. Again, connecting with people on LinkedIn, having conversations with hiring managers, having conversations with recruiters is going to help you kind of understand this question more if this is you. I would say it's not necessarily something that people want to hear, but a lot of times when I see this, it can be because people aren't necessarily aligned on the skills and the compensation of the roles they're applying for. So yeah, I have 5 years as a property adjuster, and I'm applying to be a claims manager at an insurance carrier, a mutual company, but I don't really have the established skills, or I'm not presenting myself on the resume with these skills to what they're looking for. That's something I see quite often. So that's what I would take a look at. Again, Indeed, find the Indeed job and then go on the website and apply, or go on LinkedIn and find the people that are posting these jobs and try and contact them directly. That's one thing that's going to help. Again, networking, we talked about it earlier, going to your local claims organization, going to the claims association meetings, meeting people, shaking hands, figuring out who's got the jobs. That's another way. Rockin'. Do designations matter? Love to hear from some other people. Do designations matter? I see this so much, especially in the higher level jobs. On those jobs that we're just talking about, probably not. Right? Do you need your AIC to get an adjuster trainee position? No. If you are at a carrier right now, if you are at a TPA right now, the number one thing that you can do to help advance your career that a lot of times costs you $0 is go out and get your AIC. Go out and get your ARM. Go get your CPCU. Start working on. I know it's a lot of work. I know it's time consuming. A lot of times companies will pay for those classes for you, and it will help you not only help you get more jobs in the future, but it's going to help up here. It's going to help with your understanding of how claims work, the insurance process, the claims cycle, how these things all tie in together, risk management, loss ratios, all this stuff. So the number one thing why designations matter is because it builds up here. It helps you gain knowledge that you can apply towards your everyday jobs, which is why they pay for them, but it's going to help you advance in your career as well. Almost every complex general liability adjuster job description that I see is going to have AIC preferred on there. Is it required? No. Is it highly preferred? Yes. Will it help you stand out over the other 200 applicants for that job? Yes, it will. Also, good community networking, like the CPCU Society is a really great place to meet people. They have networking events too. So another place that you can network with claims professionals. So do they matter? Yes. Do you need them? No. I need to start my AIC. Maybe I start like a blog series of me getting my AIC and like what it's like for me. That's some content ideas for myself. Write that down. It's on my goals in 2026 to start my AIC. Is it going to help me get jobs? Is it going to help me make more money? No, but like from a knowledge perspective, I think it would be really, really interesting and something that I would like to do. I got a degree in Parks and Rec, y'all. I'm like Leslie Knope. I worked in the ski industry after college, loved it. That's how I ended up in insurance. Is I liked skiing so much that I didn't want to work in the industry anymore because you never get to ski when you work in 60 hours a week at a ski area. Some of the coolest, most fun jobs I ever had, though. Shout out Wild Mountain up in Taylor's Falls, Minnesota. Shout out Taylor's Falls Canoe Rental. If you're up in the Twin Cities and you want to go canoeing, hit your boy up. I'll tell you where to go. Some really fun jobs, but that was my intro. I got a degree in Parks and Rec. Yeah, I think getting an AIC would be awesome. I'm really, really interested in risk management. And so for me, I would probably start with my ARM because mainly it's a fascinating field to me. Like I talk about it. I posted yesterday about ski patrol. I've talked a little bit about Oregon liability laws, how it's affecting me as a consumer. Legislation, poor legislation, not good legislation here in Oregon. I don't want to get too political, but whew, it's pretty much bipartisan. It's not even a political thing at this point. It's just like this is hurting everybody except for, ambulance chasers. But yeah, designations are super cool. Really great way to improve your career, position yourself, gain knowledge is the most important one. Keep on rocking. How long do I stay at my job? That is a tough question. It depends. What I will say from a recruiter standpoint is that it's difficult to present candidates to a hiring manager that have 4 jobs in the last 5 years, right? And so if you're job hopping every single year, every 6 months, and you've done it 3 times, you need to stay at your job longer than 6 months, maybe a couple of years, right? You have to stay at every job that you work for 10, 15 years. It's not like it used to be, right? People are hopping jobs, but employers do value longevity. And so it's really something that you want to consider. If you get a job and you hate it and your boss is terrible and everything sucks, I think it's really important to do some self-reflecting on why it's not working. Is the environment that you picked maybe not the best for you? I always hear like, oh, this manager was terrible. It's not something I want to hear in an interview. I want to see like your reflection on it, your personal growth, what you could have done better. And I know I like hate the old girlfriend analogy, but it kind of rings true here. Like when your buddy's always talking about his crazy exes, you're like, I had 6 crazy exes this year, man. Like maybe. So all that to say is like, if you've hopped a couple jobs, you really want to be intentional about where you end up next. Sometimes staying at your crappy job for an extra 4 months to really find the next fit instead of just going to the first shiny object that you see, may be in your best interest. But yeah, like I would say, it is a limiting factor in you getting jobs, you advancing in your career if you're constantly switching jobs. You can't stay at a job for more than a couple of years. So yeah, you do need to stay at a job for more than a couple of years if you can. Okay, last question for today, unless we get more in the chat. But what is the fastest way to increase your salary in the claims industry? Fastest way to increase your salary in the claims industry is increase your skills and experience in the claims industry. That's it. It takes time. There's no shortcuts. There's no cheat codes. There's no magic pill that you can take that's going to make you $170,000 next year. But you can get there, and you can advance. I think the most important thing is to have a plan. It doesn't have to be set in stone. You can be flexible. You can't predict your opportunities, and so it's hard to kind of do that. But you want to think about your life, think about your career, think about it 6 months out, think about it 2 years out, think about it 5 years out, think about it 10 years out. Where do I want to be, and what are the steps that I'm going to get there? Right now, I'm doing a marathon training plan. I have my plan on paper. Boom. I know I'm running 6 miles a day. I'm running 3 miles tomorrow. I'm doing deadlifts on Thursday, and I'm running 10 miles on Saturday. I know exactly what every single step along the way is until July 4th when I run 26.2 miles here in Portland, Oregon. Careers don't happen like that. You can't plan out every single step because you don't know what the opportunities are going to hold, but you can have an idea of where you want to be or what you want to do, and then you can kind of try and fill in some of those blanks with some of the opportunities. So the fastest way is to gain more experience. So if you want to make more money, what you need to be doing is raising your hand at work when someone says, hey, I've got this hard file, who wants to handle it? Or hey, so-and-so needs help with this. Or who wants to take on this new line of business that's tough? Or who wants to handle all these litigated claims that need a home? You need to be the one raising your hand for that stuff. And you need to be learning new skills, making yourself more valuable, doing some of these new opportunities, challenging yourself. It's the person that says, no, I don't do that. It's not on my job description, but I want to make more money. It's like, well, you've had all these opportunities to do more. Sure, they didn't come with that immediate raise, but that experience is what helps build that. So go work at a company that has opportunities that align with what you're looking for. Try and get involved with more of these different specialized lines of business. The fastest way to increase your salary, in my opinion, is to specialize in something. So, you know, if you're in California, specializing in GL claims or habitability claims are going to increase your value because there's some company out there that really needs that. Construction defect, product liability, cyber, you know, whatever that might be, specializing, learning a specific line of claim, becoming the best that you can be in that line, someone else is going to need that, or need something that's a little bit adjacent to that, where you can pivot into here and maybe gain some more skills. So work at a company, try and kind of work your way up. The truth of it is, the fastest way to increase your skills is to get promoted at your current company or switch companies, because a 3% raise the property adjuster every year is not going to get you from 60,000 to 120,000 very quickly. So you need to either be actively working towards a promotion, or after you've been at a company for a while, kind of gotten to where maybe you've kind of maxed out, your boss has been there for 30 years, not going to retire anytime soon, their boss has been there for 20, you might kind of hit that plateau. Then it's like, okay, do I make a lateral move? Do I try and get a job where I get a salary increase? And talking to hiring managers, talking to recruiters, working with your boy, you know, we can kind of help walk through that, kind of like go through some situations, talk about it. So another great way to do it is to find a mentor and have someone who's invested in your career, helping you out, helping you make good decisions. It doesn't need to be formal. It can be. You can join organizations like Rise and do like a formal mentorship program, which I would highly recommend. You can also kind of do it informally with people that you meet. Maybe you meet someone at a claims association. I've found mentors kind of throughout my whole career, whether it be like bosses or friends that I've made. Even in my business, I've joined this organization called SCORE that provides business owners with a mentor kind of into your industry or kind of what you're looking for, talking about. So it's been a huge impact in my career. Like finding a good mentor has really helped me. But those are some things that you can do to increase your salary, increase your earning potential, increase your marketability as a candidate, get more jobs in the future. So, boom. It's been awesome. It's been a quiet Tuesday morning, but I don't care. I'm here, man. I'll just talk and talk and talk. So, if you're out there lurking, I appreciate you joining. If you're out there listening, if you made it an hour and 15 with me, bless you. Appreciate it. Seriously, this is what I do every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I make funny memes and AI images and YouTube thumbnails, and I hop on here and I talk for an hour and talk about claim stuff. What gets me fired up? What gets me excited? I know Insurance Careers is not the most exciting podcast in the world, but I love it. I'll be here every single Tuesday. My goal is to get 100 people a job in the insurance industry in the year 2026. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week. Peace.